Tom Brady is going to remain with the New England Patriots. That's my prediction. And for a lot of you, that means you'll run out and be like, breaking news! Rank says he's going to the Pats. That means he's leaving. And you know what? That's fair. I've earned that. But the one thing about Tom Brady is that him and I, we're the same age. We're both a couple of boomers. And if there's one thing that we hate, it's changed. Like, I had to change my computer last week. I was a wreck. I never want to change my phone. I would still have a BlackBerry if I could. And that's the one thing with Tom Brady. You've played so long with one team. Do you really want to change right now? Do you want to go out there and make that switch and learn a new offense, learn a new culture, learn new receivers or anything like that? That is the one thing that I think is going in Tom Brady's favor. I understand that he's probably a little bit butthurt because, look, he has sacrificed salary for a number of years to ensure that the New England Patriots remain competitive, that they remain at the top of the AFC. And then what do they do for him last year? Is they go out and they give him Philip Dorsett, who's fine, like no disrespect to him, but let's be realistic. And so I think now Tom Brady wants to be courted a little bit. For somebody that has won 6 Super Bowls during the course of his NFL career, you still want to be a little loved. Like, you still want him to know, you still want him to make the effort. And I think that's what's going on here. And let's take a look at some of the teams that have been rumored for Tom Brady. Let's start with the San Francisco 49ers. He is not going to the 49ers. The 49ers are not making that move. Jimmy Garoppolo was on the cusp of being the Super Bowl MVP last year. All right? So that was very close. You don't make that switch right now. And really, at this stage of their careers, is Tom Brady better than Jimmy Garoppolo? Would Tom Brady have won that game last year? I think the Chiefs were on their way. Things were going to happen. It would have been, if there would have been some different play calling, perhaps that is what could have switched things over. They're not going to make that move. They're not going to throw out that money. They've got Jimmy Garoppolo locked in. I know if they want to make a move at quarterback, then next year, why don't you wait and see what could happen with Trevor Lawrence? Now, obviously, the 49ers are not going to have the first pick in the draft, but that would not preclude them from making a deal. So don't worry about it. Tom Brady's not going to San Francisco. I don't believe he is going to play for the Los Angeles Chargers. I know that he started a production company in LA, and people are like, oh my God, that means he's going to be a member of the Chargers. No, I don't like that either. Why would you walk into that situation? Like the Chargers, like really, is that an improvement? I mean, Keenan Allen's great. Austin Eckler is great. They don't know about the tight end position. They could lock in Hunter Henry. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But Tom Brady doesn't want to go to the Chargers. That is not a situation that you want to be a part of. You do not want to be the second team in LA. You do not want to be in a division where you're going to have to play the Chiefs twice a year. You're going to have to play the Broncos twice a year. He's not going to the Chargers. And for the same reason, he's not going to the Raiders. And I understand the Raiders are looking around and seeing what's happening. And as a Bears fan, I wouldn't mind seeing Tom Brady go to the Las Vegas Raiders, which means Derek Carr would be available. He could be brought in to compete with Mitch. Who knows? But I believe that Derek Carr is going to end up being the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders when they kick off in 2020. And that's all. And the one thing too, and I know a lot of Bears fans will be like, well, what about the Chicago Bears? Yeah, I'd love that. We'll just convince Allen Robinson to give up the number 12. We're all good. There it is. It's happening. But the thing is, again, is it really a better situation in Chicago than it is in New England? Very similar. Two great defenses that will be carrying the team. Now, the Bears and Patriots both struggled last year running the football, and whatever team Tom Brady goes to is going to have to be able to run the football, which might be why a lot of people like to make the connection to San Francisco. That one's not happening. One that could happen, of course, is the Tennessee Titans. Now, one thing that Tom Brady does have, familiarity-wise, is Mike Vrabel is the coach of the Tennessee Titans, and perhaps if he wants to make that switch and go down, he wants to prove a point, The division, not quite as rigorous as the AFC West. More competitive than the AFC East. But again, what are you doing? You're going down there on the hope that that Titans team, which captured some magic at the end of the last season, is going to be able to duplicate that again. Now, they could end up franchise tagging Derrick Henry and anything like that. But still, there's some uncertainty there. And really, why wouldn't you just stick with Ryan Tannehill? And if we're talking about that, let's just say Ryan Tannehill, I believe, is going to go and remain with the Tennessee Titans. They're kind of obligated at this point. I think the Titans realize that the truth about Ryan Tannehill is probably somewhere in the middle. We saw this guy play for a number of seasons. We know what Ryan Tannehill is. The Ryan Tannehill at the end of last year, not sustainable. He is not going to come out. He's not going to play at that same level again. And I know the Titan fans don't want to hear that, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. And you'll be like, well, last year you said, I know what I said. I know what I said. But if you think, I think that the Titans are closer to being a bottom of the division team than one of the upper class of the AFC. And really, if I had the wherewithal, I wouldn't bring back Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill, but they probably will. I would start looking in other directions. Other quarterbacks who will be likely on the move, Jameis Winston. Bruce Arians said that he loves and hates Jameis Winston. Loves 5,000 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, Felt like 50. At least when the fantasy footballers did it to me in Fantasy League 1. But they also hate the 30 interceptions. Now they're both kind of like, yeah, let's see what happens. Let's work this out. It's like, hey, you just broke up with somebody. You broke up with your girlfriend just in front of prom. All right, we'll go together. If I can't find anybody better out there, then yeah, we'll go together. We'll figure that out. But ultimately, I would like to find somebody else, and perhaps, we can, find somebody better. The thing is, there's nobody better out there. Who are the Buccaneers going to be bringing in who's better than Jameis Winston? Phillip Rivers is like an older version of Jameis Winston. I think Teddy Bridgewater would be interesting. I'm not sure he's dynamic enough. What about Tom Brady? Okay, well, fine. Tom Brady wants to go down to Florida and play for Bruce Arians for a couple of years. Sure. Maybe make a trade for Andy Dalton. There's a lot of other things. But ultimately, believe that Jameis is going to end up being the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And really, sometimes it's the devil you know as opposed to the devil that you don't. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans excelled last year. You get a running game. You bring in somebody like Melvin Gordon. Now, all of a sudden, Jameis Winston might be able to cut down on some of those interceptions. Phillip Rivers, we just mentioned a moment ago. I believe he's going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. Familiarity. Once again, Frank Reich was the offensive coordinator for the then San Diego Chargers. They had a lot of success. Phillip Rivers stays in the AFC. It's not the division, but it's the AFC. He's got a little familiarity there. And I know that is the word of the day. Take a shot every time that you hear it. So I'm going to go right there and say that he remains, or that he goes to the Indianapolis Colts. And is there anybody else I'm missing? Yes, Teddy Bridgewater. Now, Teddy Bridgewater could go to Los Angeles to be a member of the Chargers. He could go to the Carolina Panthers, although I do believe that they're going to end up going with Cam Newton, who should be healthy. And if he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If I'm Teddy Bridgewater, and I know it sucks, and you're like, well, I'm going to be a backup again. Didn't enjoy being a backup to Drew Brees. I'm sure believes he can be a starter in this league. What about Chicago? What about signing a deal with Chicago, similar to what Ryan Tannehill did last year, saying, I'll go to Chicago, and if Mitch does not get it done, then maybe they'll make the switch, and I will replace him, and I will be the starting quarterback. Mitch has missed 3 games over the last couple of years. Maybe he gets an opportunity that way to go out and show what he can do. I think people believe in Teddy Bridgewater. I'm just not sure there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Now, of course, if a domino falls, if Tom Brady goes to the Buccaneers or something crazy, then all of a sudden we're looking at something completely different and everybody's changing teams and who knows who ends up where. It'd be incredible if Tom Brady goes to the Titans and Tannehill goes somewhere and Dalton's got to get traded somewhere. It's a lot of moving parts. It all basically comes down to Tom Brady, and I think that everybody's going to wait and see. And perhaps maybe that's what Tom Brady likes. Maybe he enjoys sitting there and wanting everybody to watch what he does. He kind of holds all the cards here. Because if he doesn't make a move quickly, perhaps the Patriots will be like, you know what, whatever. Like, we're done with you. We're going to bring in Tannehill. You can go out and figure out what you want to go do. We're going to bring in Jameis. We're going to bring in whomever. But it all comes down to Tom Brady. Now, before we go, let's take a couple of quick looks at some places where I think some of these other guys can go. We'll go through this real quick. Because, again, this will be somebody else's YouTube video of like, look at Rank being an idiot again. Derrick Henry, again, if I was the Titans, I would not re-sign him. If you look at the contracts given to Ezekiel Elliott, given to David Johnson, that's going to be a problem for the Cardinals. Todd Gurley, his deal with the Rams, it behooves you not to give him a big money deal. You can franchise tag him for a season, that's fine. But if I was Derrick Henry, after what I did for them, I'd say, look, you guys go out, you draft a running back, you go take Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, whomever it is, let me go out, and then I rage sign, I spite sign with the Indianapolis Colts. Because that offensive line is dynamite, and if you bring in Phillip Rivers, you go and you join that team. And I know Marlon Mack's there. I don't care. Or if you want to go to the Texans. Like, stay in the AFC South and make the Titans pay for not wanting to pay you. Sign a short-term deal. Try to get as much guaranteed money as possible. Melvin Gordon, again, I mentioned a moment ago, I like him for Tampa Bay, but some other good options. Houston would be amazing. The Atlanta Falcons would be pretty good if they move on from Devonta Freeman. Maybe. I've seen some other crazy ones around. Seattle was one that one of my friends threw out. I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Like, that's kind of fun. Depends on whether he feels he's going to be a full-time guy or not. It'll be interesting to see what kind of money is thrown his way. He might be somebody that ends up being a free agent for a long time because there are some good running backs coming out of the draft, and he might have to wait. He might have to wait until after the draft to see where everybody settles with their running backs and then kind of go hat in hand and be like, okay, I'll sign with you. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Kenyon Drake, I would say that you remain with the Arizona Cardinals. You thrived outside of Miami. It's one of those, it is the weirdest thing. Like, Adam Gase is the Adam Rose of the NFL. And if you guys remember that photo of Adam Rose and like all the superstars that are behind him, that are his rosebuds. You got Becky Lynch, obviously, Elias, Braun Strowman, all those people. Everybody flourishes once they got away from him. And I like the Adam Rose character. I don't know. That was I don't know, maybe I'm a Russell Brand fan or anything. Kenyon Drake, though, if you want to be a great NFL player, you'll stay in Arizona. If you want to get paid, you'll go to Detroit. And it's fine. Listen, I want to get paid too. So I don't blame you. Go get that money. Do what you got to do. Amari Cooper, again, Dallas would be ideal. But what about going to New England? If Tom Brady is going to stay with the New England Patriots, he's going to need some talent around him. Now, the one thing about Amari Cooper, or excuse me, what's going on with the New England Patriots, Julian Edelman, 100 receptions. James White, 72. The next closest guy is Philip Dorsett, who had 29 receptions. Amari Cooper comes in there, adds some instant credibility to that receiver room again. Edelman, Cooper, that's a great duo, of course, with James White as a receiver out of the backfield. And then, if I'm going to go fully into this, why not bring in Hunter Henry as well? Now, Hunter Henry is going to be great as a pass catcher no matter where he goes. But one of the things he really excels in is run blocking. And we saw that last year with the Chargers. I mean, he's a great receiver, don't get me wrong. But his run blocking, exceptional. There was a huge play. There was a huge run that Austin Eckler made against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Hunter Henry was out there leading the way, just wrecking shop, doing what he does. So he would be good that way. And this stopped. I don't know when this stopped, but it stopped.